What does it take to make someone disappear not just from a place, but from the hearts of those who swore they'd never let you go? My name is Alara, and I learned the answer the hard way. At 23, I was the glue of our group, the one who planned every late-night adventure, mediated every petty fight, and carried the weight of their secrets like they were my own. We were 5, Jake, Mia, Lucas, and Sophie, bound by years of laughter, shared dreams, and promises we etched into the walls of an old treehouse. But one night, they walked away without a word, leaving me stranded in the rain, clutching a pendant that held more than just memories. So, I vanished. And now, they're begging me to come back. But the girl they knew is gone, and the truth they're chasing is darker than they could ever imagine. It started in our small coastal town, where the ocean's roar drowned out the silence of our doubts. We were inseparable, or so I thought. Jake, with his reckless grin, was the dreamer who'd drag us to abandoned lighthouses at midnight. Mia, sharp-tongued and fiercely loyal, was the one who'd fight for us. Lucas, quiet but steady, always had a plan to fix things. And Sophie, the artist, painted our chaos into something beautiful. I was the heart, they said, the one who kept us together. Every summer, we'd meet at the treehouse, a crumbling relic from our childhood, and renew our pact. No matter what, we'd never abandon each other. That night, the air was thick with storm clouds. We'd planned to meet at the treehouse to celebrate my birthday. I'd spent weeks crafting a surprise pendant for each of us, engraved with a star, a symbol of our bond. I waited, the rain soaking through my jacket, the pendants heavy in my pocket. Hours passed. No texts, no calls, no sign of them. I trekked to Jake's house, then Mia's, then Lucas's. Empty. Sophie's art studio was locked, her usual glow of fairy lights dark. They ditched me, without a word, without a reason. The betrayal cut deeper than the cold. I left the pendants on the treehouse floor and walked away, vowing never to look back. I didn't just leave the town, I erased myself. I moved to the city, changed my number, and buried Alara under a new name, Lena. I found work as a night shift librarian, losing myself in books and shadows. The pendant I kept, the one I hadn't given away, became my anchor, glowing faintly when I held it, a mystery I couldn't unravel. For 2 years, I built a life alone, convincing myself I didn't need them. But the ache never faded. Why had they left? What had I done? The questions haunted me, but I refused to seek answers. They didn't deserve my pain. Then came the twist I never saw coming. One night, while shelving books, I found a letter slipped between the pages of a worn novel. It was in Sophie's handwriting, trembling and urgent. Alara, we're sorry. We didn't know. Please come back. We're in trouble. My heart raced, but anger held me back. They didn't know what? Why now? I burned the letter, but the next night, another appeared. Then another. Each one was more desperate, hinting at danger, at something they couldn't face alone. I ignored them, but the pendant began to glow brighter, warmer, as if it knew something I didn't. The turning point came when I met Caleb, a stranger who wasn't a stranger. He approached me at the library, his eyes haunted, holding a pendant identical to mine. They sent me, he said, voice low. They're trapped, Alara. And you're the only one who can save them. Caleb wasn't part of our group, but he knew details about the treehouse, our pact, the night they left. He claimed they hadn't abandoned me by choice. They'd been pulled into something bigger, something dangerous, tied to the pendants I'd made. I didn't trust him, but the glow of my pendant pulsed in his presence, urging me to listen. Caleb's story unraveled everything I thought I knew. The pendants weren't just trinkets. I'd crafted them from stones I'd found on the beach, stones that hummed with an energy I couldn't explain. Unknowingly, I'd bound them to an ancient force, something that tied us to the town's forgotten history, a curse that demanded loyalty and punished betrayal. That night, they hadn't ditched me, they'd been taken, drawn to the cliffs by the pendant's pull. They'd tried to fight it, to protect me, but the curse had claimed them, trapping them in a limbo only I could break. Caleb, a descendant of the curse's origin, had been watching us for years, waiting for me to act. I wanted to run, to leave them to their fate. But the pendant's glow burned against my skin, and memories of our laughter, our promises, flooded back. I hated them, but I loved them still. Against my better judgment, I followed Caleb back to the town, to the cliffs where the ocean roared louder than ever. The tree house was gone, replaced by a circle of stones that pulsed with the same light as my pendant. Caleb explained, to free them, I had to face the curse, to offer something of myself, my trust, my heart, or my life. The choice was mine, but the cost was steep. The ritual was harrowing. I stood in the circle, the pendant blazing in my hand, the wind howling like a warning. Shadows moved within the stones, and I saw them: Jake, Mia, Lucas, Sophie, flickering like ghosts, their faces etched with fear and regret. They called my name, their voices breaking. I wanted to scream at them, to demand answers, but the curse demanded more. It fed on our bond, on the trust we'd broken. I had to forgive them, to believe in us again, or they'd be lost forever. I closed my eyes, the pendant searing my palm. I remembered the nights we'd spent dreaming, the promises we'd made. They'd hurt me, but they were my family. I whispered their names, letting go of the anger, offering the curse my trust, the hardest thing I'd ever done. The light exploded, and the shadows dissolved. When I opened my eyes, they were there, real and solid, tears streaming down their faces. They rushed to me, apologies tumbling out, but I held up a hand. Not yet, I said. We talk later. We sat by the cliffs, the pendants dark now, their power spent. They told me everything: how the curse had pulled them away, how they'd fought to reach me, how they'd sent Caleb when they couldn't break free. I listened, the wounds still raw but healing. Caleb watched from a distance, his own pendant dim, his role complete. He nodded once and disappeared into the night, a mystery I'd never fully solve. We rebuilt, slowly. The trust wasn't the same, but it was stronger, forged in truth and sacrifice. The town felt different now, lighter, as if the curse had lifted from us all. I kept my pendant, a reminder of what I'd lost and what I'd found. They'd ditched me without a word, and I'd vanished, but I came back not for them, but for me. For the girl who'd learned that even broken bonds can mend, that even the deepest wounds can heal, and that sometimes, the hardest choice is to love again.